Most of what we're going to learn on the Yomad is going to get to Birchos Torah and the Brachos of Kriya Shema. A few different things. Okay, we'll see. On Amud Aleph we discuss Negea to Kriya Shema Shel Shachris. Okay, let's begin the Mishnah. Zok the Mishnah. Daf Yud Amud Beis at the bottom. The Shamai Oimrim. Got it? Very good. Shamai Oimrim be'erev in the evening. Kol Adam Yate v'Yikra. In the evening, when a person is saying Kriya Shema, he should lean or lie down and read Shema. Uba Boker in the morning, Yamoid. When you read Kriya Shema, you should stand up and say it. Shenemar, this is based on the pasuk Ubeshachbacha Uvekumecha. So Ubeshachbacha means you lie down and read and say Shema. Ubekumecha, you stand up and say Shema. Beis Hillel Leibrim, Beis Hillel say Kol Adam Koide Kedarkei. A person reads the Shema as he wishes. Shenemar, we learn it from the next part of the pasuk. A person is walking in the way, and you say Shema even while you're walking. If so, according to Beis Hillel, what's the pshat in the fact that in the beginning of the pasuk it says from where Beis Shammai learned that you should lie in the evening and stand in the morning. That part of the pasuk is only coming to describe the time, the two times to say Kriya Shema. It's not telling you the position that the person should be in when he says Shema. I was walking, I was going on the way. And I stopped in the evening, then I lie down to say the Shema, like the opinion of Beis Shammai. V'sikanti biatzmi, and I ended up putting myself in danger. I listed him from robbers that were there because of what he did. Amruloi, so the Chachamim said to him, Kedaya yisa lochav ba'atzmach, you were deserving the sakana that you were in, sha'avarta al divrei Beis Hillel, because you didn't follow the halacha of Beis Hillel and you followed the opinion of Beis Shammai, so you were deserving for this sakana that you were in. Okay, so we'll see soon. We'll get to the Gemara. I'll maybe expound more on this last part of the Mishnah. So the Gemara, let's go straight into the Gemara on Daf Yud Aleph, where the Gemara will discuss further the pshat and the psukim of B'shiftecha v'Veisecha and B'lechtecha v'Derech according to Beis Hillel and according to Beis Shammai. Zok the Gemara Bishleime Beis Hillel. It's well understood according to Beis Hillel. They explained their opinion why they didn't agree to Beis Shammai, because they're answering Beis Shammai. B'shachbacha v'kumecha is just describing the timing, not describing the position you should be in. And so again, Bishleime Beis Hillel kamafarshi tamayhu. Pshat over here is they're explaining their own opinion that they learned it from B'lechtecha v'Derech. The time of the Beis Shammai, and they also explain why they disagree with what Beis Shammai is saying that you learn from B'shachbacha v'kumecha. Elo Beis Shammai, however, according to Beis Shammai, my time elo yamer ke Beis Hillel. Why do they not agree to what Beis Hillel said that you learn out from B'lechtecha v'Derech that you could say Kriya Shema in any position? Beis Shammai never explained that. So the Gemara answers. Omri lecha Beis Shammai will tell you in Cain. If Beis Hillel is right that V'shachbacha v'kumecha means in the evening, it's just a timing, in the morning and at night, so why did the pasuk not say that clearly? In the morning and at night. Why is the pasuk using this description for the timing of Kriya Shema when you lie down and when you get up? So that's mashma. B'shas shchiva means shchiva mamish. It is a timing, but it's using particularly this expression to say that you should actually lie down when you say it. Or b'shas kima mamish. At the time when you wake up, but it also means that you should be standing when you say Kriya Shema. So therefore, Beis Shammai didn't accept Beis Hillel's interpretation of b'shachbacha over kamecha. Beis Shammai, the Gemara continues, Beis Shammai, how would Beis Shammai respond to what Beis Hillel said, that B'lechtecha v'Derech teaches you that you could say it in any position? So according to Beis Shammai, what do we learn from B'lechtecha v'Derech if not that? For the Gemara, according to Beis Hillel, according to Beis Shammai, you learn from B'lechtecha v'Derech what it says in the Braisa. So the Brachos says, "B'shiftecha b'veisecha." What is the pasuk teaching me with these words? Prat la'isik b'mitzvah. When you sit in your home, so you have the obligation to say Kriya Shema. That excludes somebody that's occupied with a mitzvah. As the famous Klal ha'oisik b'mitzvah, pater b'mitzvah. So it's learned from here. Uvelechtecha v'derech. When you are going on your way, what is that coming to exclude? Prat l'chasen. That comes to exclude a chasen, which is also really being oisik b'mitzvah, to get married, to be mekayim the mitzvah of piri v'ribya is also involved in a mitzvah. But Rashi explains that there's a difference. There's a person that's in the middle of doing the action of the mitzvah, and when he's doing a mitzvah, he's potter to do another mitzvah. That's the first limud. And in the case of the chasen is not potter only b'shas he's doing a mitzvah. He's potter at the night of his chasana when he's getting married, because in his machshava, he's torod, he's preoccupied with getting the mitzvah done. So the chiddush of this limud is that even the tirde b'machshava suffices, qualifies to be potter from doing another mitzvah. Mikan Amru, from here we learn, Hakainis is a basula, potter. Person that gets married to a basula, getting married to her for the first time, or actually she's getting married for the first time, she's a basula, a virgin, she's potter. He would be potter from Kriya Shema, that is. There's almana, but if you marry an almana, chayiv. Then you would be chayiv to say Kriya Shema. The Gemara will soon explain the difference. But first the Gemara wants to understand, my mashma. Where do you see in this pasuk, what is the mashmas of the pasuk that you see that you're going to be potter from a mitzvah? How do you see b'shiftecha b'veisecha is not when a person is sitting in his house and doing a mitzvah, or b'lechtecha v'derech when he's walking on his way doing a mitzvah? Amar Rav Papa, so Rav Papa answers ki derech, because we compare it to a derech. Since the pasuk uses the term derech, we compare it to derech. Ma derech rishus. The idea of a derech is a person's going on his way for permissible things, for his own things. Call, so too in any case where the pasuk obligates you to do a mitzvah, to say Shema or any other mitzvah, rishus. It's referring to a case of a rishus. Fragt the Gemara, wait a minute, who says derech is rishus? Mi lo yaskinon. The ka'azal dvar mitzvah. Perhaps derech refers to a person that's going on a way of a mitzvah. The pasuk doesn't give a description what the derech is. It could be a derech for rishus. It could be a derech for a mitzvah. And still the Torah says you should say Shema. And for the Gemara, no. So you're right, the word derech itself does not clearly indicate that it refers to something which is rishos, but it's the fact that it could have said b'sheves b'veisecha, you sit in your home, or b'leches b'derech, you go on your way. Why does it say b'shiftecha and b'lechtecha? My b'shiftecha b'lechtecha, b'sheves didach or b'leches didach. When you are sitting for something that's for your own rishus, for yourself, and you're not occupied on a mitzvah, or you're going on a way, your own way, and you're not occupied on a mitzvah, then you're chayiv to do the mitzvah, but otherwise you're potter. Hudim b'chayivis, then you're obligated. Sorry. Hadim mitzvah petiras. So from there, that we understand. But if the person is sitting and doing a mitzvah, he'll be potter. You're only obligated if you're doing something which is permissible. Now the Gemara goes back. Now that we understand what the source of the pasuk is, the Gemara goes back to the distinction between a basula and an almana. What difference does it make if you're getting married to a basula and almana? Either way, the person is getting married to be mekayim the mitzvah of piri v'ribya. So what difference is it?
It's funny that we make them use the b'shavchav kumechav lechav there, which like the shot seems to be totally different. Like when you go down, and the whole time you should be speaking about Torah.
You should always be speaking about divrei Torah. Correct? Okay, and a chanami. But the idea that you should learn Torah all times can be expressed in many, many different ways. As the Gemara will always do. The fact that the Torah uses all these words to describe the fact that you should learn Torah constantly is teaching me other dinim. If so, even an individual that gets married to almana, nami as well, should also be potter from Kriya Shema. He's also torid in doing a mitzvah. And for the Gemara, it's not the same. High torid, v'high loy torid. There's a different level of tirda. When a person gets married to a basula, which is a virgin, and therefore the mitzvah is more difficult to fulfill, so over there, the person is more preoccupied. He can't focus and have kavan on saying Kriya Shema. In the case of an almana, you don't have that tirda, and therefore he can do the mitzvah of Kriya Shema. So now the Gemara.
Would be the same for gerusha.
Correct. Yes. Frag the Gemara. Wait a minute. If now you're adding another detail here, it's not just in the case of the chassan getting married. It's not just about the fact that he's preoccupied in his mind to do the mitzvah, but there has to be a level of tirda. Certainly, it's the tirda that he can't focus on the mitzvah. That is the reason he's potter. If the point is the tirda, so you can describe many different examples of a person that's very preoccupied by something that happened. Like, for example, a person's boat sinks and he's very preoccupied about his financial loss, and he can't say Kriya Shema and focus and have kavanah and Kriya Shema. So if tirda itself patters, it's lav dafka mitzvah. Sagt the Gemara, well, maybe that's taka the din. If you're going to suggest that would be the case. So the Gemara proves that can't be so. Because why did Rab Abba Bar Zavda say in the name of Rav, Oval chayiv b'chol ha-mitzvahs ha'amura b'Torah. And Oval is obligated to fulfill all mitzvahs that it says in the Torah, chutz min ha-tefillin, besides one mitzvah of tefillin, shaharei nema ben peher. Regarding tefillin, the Torah says pe'er, shenema pe'ercha chovu shalecha, your beauty, you have the beauty on your head. And by an oval, he shouldn't fulfill this mitzvah of pe'er. Rashi brings a pasuk that an oval, which is mourning for a death of a relative, so he has ashes on his head or earth on his head, and to have a pe'er on his head is not the right time for him to fulfill the mitzvah of tefillin. So what do you see here? An oval which is mourning and is definitely preoccupied with his mourning, the only thing that he's potter of is tefillin, not any other mitzvah. So you see that stam tirda is not a reason to pater somebody from a mitzvah. So the Gemara answers, Chasam tare tirda the mitzvah. The difference is, a person, a chasam that's getting married, it's not just a preoccupation. It has to be particularly a preoccupation of a mitzvah. You have to have both. A tirda of a mitzvah is what parters you. Over here, it's a tirda. The person is very preoccupied, whether with a financial loss or something else, but still it's a tirda of rishus, and that itself does not qualify the pati of a mitzvah. A person has to make an effort to still clear his mind and fulfill the mitzvah. So this concludes the discussion of the pshat and the braise that we learned out from the psukim over here. Now, the next line of the Gemara is a very difficult line to understand. The Bach and the Marsha erase the next line of the Gemara. I'll read it for you, and you'll see for yourself why it's very difficult to understand. Beishamai. Now the Gemara has a question over here, according to this gersa that we have, according to Beishamai. What's the question according to Beishamai? It's not clear. The Gemara clarified everything already according to Beishamai. And then the Gemara continues. Hahumi bayale, the pasuk of V'lechtecha baderech is needed to teach me prat l'shluchei mitzvah, to exclude shluchei mitzvah. Didn't we say that already? That a V'lechtecha baderech is coming to exclude a person that's doing a mitzvah. So what is the Gemara asking? What is the Gemara answering? So as I said, the Bach and the Marsha erased this part of the Gemara, but I'll tell you a pshat that some Mefarshim say. In the old Gemara, it's on the side of the Gemara, in the Meseiris Hashas. The Gemara here says a different lashon, shluchei mitzvah. So some Mefarshim say that what the Gemara is saying is that based on the discussion we had before, it came out that really you have belechtecha, saying belechtecha, which is one source to be memayit oisek b'mitzvah, but also baderech, the word baderech itself could be used as a diak. After it says belechtecha, you understand, but that baderech is referring also to a union of rishos. So the Gemara is now asking, so according to Beishamai, shouldn't there be a separate limud from belechtecha and a separate limud from baderech? So what is the other limud that you learn out from baderech? And the Gemara is machadish, besides a person that's actually doing a mitzvah that's pater, a shliach mitzvah, that's on the way to do a mitzvah, and he's not yet doing a mitzvah, he's also pater. Which would then mean that according to this Gemara, we have three cases of a person that's pater of a mitzvah because he's oisek b'mitzvah. A person that's actually doing the mitzvah, a shliach mitzvah, and a person that's tarud in the machshava of a mitzvah, which is a chasna. That's one pshat in the Gemara, but I believe most Mefarshim do erase this line in the Gemara. Okay, let's continue. Beis Hillel Amri. Now the Gemara's question is, according to Beis Hillel, does Beis Hillel not agree to this braise that this is the source to a oisek b'mitzvah, patim and a mitzvah? And Beis Hillel also learned out from this pasuk that a person may read Kriya Shema in any position that he desires. So how could Beis Hillel learn out from the same pasuk two different things? That's the question on Beis Hillel now. So the Gemara answers, Beis Hillel Amri, Beis Hillel will say, it's automatically understood that b'derech nami kari. Even if the main limit from this pasuk is to teach me that oisek b'mitzvah patim and a mitzvah, but the very fact that the pasuk is actually saying that while you're going on your way, Taka your way to teach me the idea of Isaac b'mitzvah patum and a mitzvah. But the very fact that the pasuk says that, you could automatically understand in the pshat of the pasuk that it's even when you're walking, so you don't have to be in the position of lying or standing. So that that's automatically understood in the pshat of the pasuk. So you could learn both things from the very same words of Belech Techa V'derech. Tana Rabbanon, we learned in a Braise Beis Hillel Oimrim, Beis Hillel Oimrim, Oimdin v'Kairin, Yoishvin v'Kairin. Beis Hillel says you could stand and say Shema. Yoishvin v'Kairin, you could sit and say Shema. Motim v'Kairin, you could lie and say Shema. Heilchim baderech v'Kairin, while you walk on the way, you could say Shema. Oisim b'Malachtam v'Kairin, you could also, even in the middle of work, you can say Shema. We'll see later on in the Gemara, not today's Amud, but we'll see that it depends on work when you could say Shema. So there was a story with two Tanaim, Rabbi Shmuel and Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, Shehayim Mesubim b'makim echad. They were having a meal together in the evening in one place. V'haya Rabbi Shmuel muta, and Rabbi Shmuel was lying down. But Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah is zakuf, and Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah was standing. And when the time of Kriya Shema arrives, Hita Rabbi Elazar, v'zakuf Rabbi Shmuel. So Rabbi Elazar lies down to say Shema, and Rabbi Shmuel gets up to say Shema. Again, we're talking about Kriya Shema Shalaris. So what happened? Amalei Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah Rabbi Shmuel. Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah says to Rabbi Shmuel, Yishmael Lachi, Yishmael my brother. I'll give you an example of what you did, what that would be compared to. He was trying to give him an example of how irrational his behavior was. So he gives him the following example. An example of a person that you tell him, Zekancha, Megudel, you have a beautiful beard. Amalahem, so the person responds and says, You complimented me how beautiful my beard is, let my beard be cut off. It's an irrational response. I'm giving you a compliment of how beautiful your beard is. You have to say, Dafke Ibchem Estavra, no, I'm going to cut off my beard. Afkach Ata. So your behavior is the same way. Kozman Shani Zakov, as long as I was standing there by the meal, so Ata Mutta. You're doing the opposite, you're lying down. Achshav Kishani Teisi, when I lie down to say Kriya Shema, because I wanted to fulfill, I guess, the opinion of Beis Shammai, and he lie down, Ata Zakafta. So you have to do Dafke Fakert of what I am doing. That was what Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah told Rabbi Shmuel. Amalai. So Rabbi Shmuel responds and says to him, no, I was right. Aniya sisi kedivre Beis Hillel. When I'm getting up, I was fulfilling what Beis Hillel's opinion is, that when you say Kriya Shema, you don't have to lie down when you say Kriya Shema Shel Arvis. V'ata sisa kedivre Beis Shammai. And you are following the opinion of Beis Shammai. Why are you following the opinion of Beis Shammai, which you don't paskin like? V'lo yoid. And not only this, Elo Shema Yiru Talmidim v'yikvu Halacha l'Deiros. Perhaps the Talmidim will see that we're saying Kriya Shema, that I'm saying Kriya Shema when I'm lying down, and then they might establish the Halacha l'Deiros like Beis Shammai. So therefore I got up. So the Gemara explains, My v'lo yoid. Why does he add the second point, the concern that Talmidim will be kaveya the Halacha like Beis Shammai? Because you can still say Beis Hillel nami is lehu matan. Beis Hillel also agrees that you could say Kriya Shema when you're lying. This Braise began with the statement, Beis Hillel holds you can say Kriya Shema in any position, including lying down, when you say Kriya Shema Shel Arvis. But the answer is, Hanim mili de matav asa meikara. That is, if you were lying before in that position. So if you happen to be in that position when the Zman of Kriya Shema Shel Arvis comes, you can say Kriya Shema in that position. Aval hacha, kivin da ad hashta haviz zakuf. But you, Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, until this point you were standing, v'hashta mutta, and now when it came to say Kriya Shema Shel Arvis, you went and lie down. Amri shmamino kebisham isfirilu. So that's different. Then people are going to say, oh, if you went and lie down, that shows that you hold like Beis Shammai. Shema yiru atalmidim v'yikva halacha l'deiros. So the very fact that you went and changed your position to say Kriya Shema, that was the problem. That's what's going to be guiding, that the Talmidim will be kaveh the halacha l'deiros like Beis Shammai. Tana Rav Yecheskel, Tana we learned in a Braise, Rav Yecheskel also kedivrei Beis Shammai. Rav Yecheskel would follow the opinion of Beis Shammai and say, so let me start this again. Rav Yecheskel said, Tani Rav Yecheskel, Osa kedivrei Beis Shammai, Osa. One that fulfills the mitzvah like Beis Shammai, it's good, it's done, the mitzvah is done. Kedivrei Beis Hillel, Osa. And if you do like Beis Hillel, the mitzvah is also done. That was what Rav Yecheskel said. Rav Yosef Amar, Rav Yosef disagrees and says, no. Asa kedivrei Beishamai, if you fulfill the mitzvah like Beishamai, lo yasa v'lo klum, you've done nothing. You can't fulfill it, we paskin like Beis Hillel, and you can't fulfill the mitzvah like Beishamai. The Tanan, because we learned in a Mishnah, and he brings a raya for this from a Mishnah. So we see in an argument of Beishamai and Beis Hillel regarding a sukkah. So a person is sitting with most of his body inside the sukkah. However, the table where the food is extending into the house. Beishamai paislan. Beishamai says that's possible. There's a gzeirim with the rabbana that you may end up having yourself in the house and not in the sukkah. Beis Hillel machshirim. Beis Hillel say no, that's okay. Most of your body's in the sukkah, that's okay. Amr lahem Beis Hillel Beishamai. Beis Hillel said to Beishamai, Meister sheholchu zikne Beishamai v'zikne Beis Hillel v'vakres Rav Yechanan ben Achiranis. There was a story that the Zikanim went, zikne Beishamai and zikne Beis Hillel went to visit Rav Yechanan ben Achiranis, and matzu shoyeroisha v'ruba b'sukkah v'shulchane v'seich habayis. His head and most of his body was in the sukkah, and his table was in the house. V'lo yamru lo klum, and they didn't say anything to him, which means that it's okay to be Mekayim the mitzvah this way. Amru lahem, so Beishamai responds and says, no, Misham Raya, from that incident you bring a proof. Af heim Amru lo, they did say something. They said, Im kein yisa noyig, if this is the way you conducted yourself, this is the way you did your mitzvah the whole life, lo keyamta mitzvah sukkah miyamecha. You've never fulfilled the mitzvah of sukkah. So what do you see over here? In this argument between Beis Hillel and Beishamai, Beishamai is saying to Beis Hillel, if you do the mitzvah the way you do it, you haven't fulfilled the mitzvah at all. So just like that's true regarding a machlekes of Beishamai and Beis Hillel, where Beishamai says to Beis Hillel that it's as if you've never done the mitzvah, it's the same way the other way around regarding Kriya Shema, that according to Beis Hillel, if you fulfill the mitzvah the way Beishamai says, it's not a mitzvah. And Tosfos here explains, Tosfos goes so far to say that this is a chiddush, this is a gzeirim midrabanan, that even though minat Torah, Beis Hillel would agree that if you say Kriya Shema Shel Arvis, for example, lying down, you fulfill the mitzvah, but because Beis Hillel paskins differently, they said, no, they uprooted the mitzvah minat Torah and said you were not Mekayim the mitzvah. Since to Beis Hillel it's not nochain to do this, right? So therefore you weren't Mekayim the mitzvah. As we see in the Mishnah, Kedai Yisa Lochov Ba'atzmacha, so much so that he put his life into danger, because if you fulfill the mitzvah like Beishamai said, you haven't fulfilled the mitzvah at all. Like by the case of Sukkah, that's the comparison over here. In the case of Sukkah, you didn't fulfill the mitzvah at all, even though Beishamai agreed that Minat Torah, you're Reisha V'Ruba in the Sukkah. But because of the Gzeira, it's as if you haven't fulfilled the mitzvah. So to by Kriya Shema, according to Beis Hillel, you haven't fulfilled the mitzvah if you do it like Beishamai says.
Funny thing to say, because over there you're more mekel, and over here you're like just an extra chumrah.
Beishamai is an extra chumrah.
Yeah, so like
right.
I'm saying you can't really take a raya from there.
Yeah, Tosfos asks you a question. It's a shayla, yeah. Yeah, okay. Let's go back to the Gemara. Something else? Talk to Gemara. Rav Nachman by Yitzchak Amar. Rav Nachman by Yitzchak says, Asa kedivri Beishamai, one that follows the opinion of Beishamai chayiv misa. So we see this already from the Mishnah that you shouldn't follow the opinion of Beishamai. In the Mishnah it said,
it's escalated really quickly.
Amar Rav Tarfin, Aniya yisi baba derech, v'iteisi likrais kedivri Beishamai, v'sikanti be'atzmi mipnei alistim. So we see in the Mishnah that if you follow the opinion of Beishamai, you put your life in danger. Now, in the pshat of the Mishnah, it's possible to say that he was b'makim sakana. The reason his life was in danger is not because he's chayiv misa. He was in a place on a way where he was b'makim sakana. That's the reason why his life was in danger. Elamai, if he would have followed Beis Hillel's opinion, Hashem would have saved him from that sakana. Now that he didn't follow the opinion of Beis Hillel, so he was exposed to that sakana. But the Gemara here seems to be saying, no, the pshat in the Mishnah is he was chayiv misa. The very fact that he followed the opinion of Beishamai and not the psak halacha. The point over here is, once there's a psak halacha, and a person decides to deviate from the psak halacha, there's a klal in Torah, halacha ke Beis Hillel or not ke Beishamai. So much so, Beishamai Beis Hillel ain't a Mishnah. And an individual comes along and says, and I have my own psak, ich will machma zayin like myself. Even if it's a chumrah, but if you deviate from the psak halacha, so that's the reason why it's chayiv misa. Sagt the Mishnah, B'shachar mevarich shtayim lefaneo. Now the Gemara describes, the Mishnah tells us the dinim of Birchas Kriya Shema. In the morning, we say 2 brachas before Kriya Shema, v'achas lachareo, and 1 bracha after Kriya Shema. Ube'erev, mevarich shtayim lefaneo, v'shtayim lachareo. And by Kriya Shema Shel Arvis, we say 2 brachas before Kriya Shema, and 2 brachas after Kriya Shema. Achas arucha v'achas ketzara. One of the brachas that we say after Kriya Shema, the bracha of Emes v'Amunah, is a longer bracha, concluding with Gal Yisrael, and one v'achas ketzara, and one of them is a shorter bracha, the bracha of Ashkivenu. Makim shamru laharich ein rashay lekatzer. In the place where Chachamim made a longer bracha, one may not change the nusach and shorten it. Lekatzer ein rashay laharich. With a shorter bracha, one may not add to that to make it a longer bracha. Lachtaim, when the Chachamim said you have to be chaysim, which means that you conclude the bracha with Baruch Atah Hashem. Ein rashay shaloi lachtaim. You may not conclude the bracha without a chesima, without saying Baruch Atah Hashem. Shaloi lachtaim, in a place where Chachamim were masakin a bracha without a conclusion of Baruch Atah Hashem, and Rashi says that would be when you make a bracha on food. Ein rashay lachtaim. You may not add to that and say Baruch Atah Hashem. Sagt the Gemara, mai mevarach. So what are the brachas that a person says in the morning before Kriya Shema? Amar Rav Yaakov, Amar Rav Oishia, Yetzer Oir u'Vayre Chayshach. The bracha that we say, the first bracha is Yetzer Oir and Vayre Chayshach, which of course comes from a pasuk. Right? It's a pasuk in Yeshaya. Fragt the Gemara, Leime Yetzer Oir u'Vayre Noiga. Why say that the Eibusha creates light and darkness? Why not say something more positive? Yetzer Oir u'Vayre Noiga. Noiga also means a glow, light. Why don't we say that in the morning? Especially it's in the morning. You're waking up in the morning and you're thanking the Eibusha for the morning and the light. So you should use 2 different expressions of light in the morning. So what's the answer to that? Kidduchsiv kamrinan. What we would change the lashon of the pasuk. In the pasuk it says chayshach, so we say it as it says in the pasuk. So the Gemara asks, if so, elamayata, if you want to keep it to the lashon of the pasuk, ayisa shalom uvayre ra. In the pasuk it says the Eibusha makes peace and creates evil. Mi kamrinan. Do we say it kidduchsiv as the pasuk says? We don't. Elaksiv ra. In the pasuk it says the word ra, but v'karina nakayel, we switch that to be more positive and to say hakayel. So, lishna ma'alya, to use a more positive expression. So, hachanami leimen noiga, so we could also replace chayshech for noiga. Lishna ma'alya, to use a better expression. Elo amarave, so therefore Rava gives a different answer. The reason why we say chayshech in the morning, we're waking up in the morning, thanking Hashem for the light, and right in the morning we talk about chayshech. Amarave kedei lahaskir midas yom balayla. We mentioned the Eibishter's koyach of creating day at night, as the Gemara will soon say. Umidas laila bayom. And when we wake up in the morning, we mention chayshech, we thank Hashem for night as well. And as the Mefarshim say, it's because we want to say that it's the same Eibishter that creates day and creates night. So we mention night by day and day at night. So we mention chayshech and the bracha in the morning. Bishleim midas laila bayayim. We see here where we mention the night and the morning bracha. Kedamrina yaitzerayda vayda chayshech. We say chayshech even in the morning. Ela midas yayim balayla. Where do we mention? Where do we thank Hashem for day in the bracha that we say by night Kriya Shema? Heichi mishkachas la. Where do we find it? Amar Abaye goylul or mipnei chayshech v'chayshech mipnei yair. Hashem removes the light for the darkness and the darkness for the light. So we mention also the light at night. Sagt the Gemara weiter, ve'idach maihi. What is the second bracha of Kriya Shema that we say before Kriya Shema? Amar Rav Yehuda Mashmul Ava Rabba. The second bracha is the bracha of Ava Rabba. V'chein oiri le Rabba Lazar le Rabba Pedas Berei Ava Rabba, that the second bracha begins with Ava Rabba. Kanyanami Hachi, we learned so to an Abraisa, Ein Oimrim Ava Soilam. The nusach of the bracha is not Ava Soilam, which is our nusach of course. Ela Ava Rabba. Rather the nusach is Ava Rabba. V'Rabbanan Amri, but the Rabbanan disagree and say Ava Soilam. That the nusach of the bracha is Ava Soilam. V'chein Oimer, and the source to say Ava Soilam is in the pasuk where it says Va'avas Oilam Ma'avticha, an everlasting love, I love you, Al Kemish Achticha Chased, my kindness draws you to me. So of course that's Tunis Chais. If you look in Nusach Ashkenaz, it's Ava Rabba. It's always Ava Rabba. Nusach Sfard in the Welt, in the Chassidische Welt, they say Ava Soilam every day, a weekday, and on Shabbos they switch to Ava Rabba. And our Nusach Harizal is to always say Ava Soilam. Both morning and night, and there's actually the Pshat of the Alter Rebbe in Tanya. The Alter Rebbe in Tanya in Perik Mem Vavas, I believe, or somewhere in that area, the Alter Rebbe explains the Pshat of Ava Soilam. Usually in Chassidus it says Ava Rabba is the deeper level of love than Ava Soilam. But the Alter Rebbe in Tanya gives a different pshat for Avos Olam, a beautiful pshat. The Alter Rebbe says that the first bracha of Yetzer Hara, the theme of most of the bracha is talking about the relationship that the Malachim have to Hashem. And we draw on that inspiration to awaken ourselves also to have that same subservience to Hashem like Malachim. Then we come to the second bracha. The theme of the second bracha is that the love that Hashem has to the Yidden that's infinitely greater than the Malachim. So the idea of Avas Olam is, the Eibishter says, even my children, even when they're found in Olam and they're in such a low place, Avas Olam, I love them there. So that's why we say the bracha of Avas Olam, to express the special love that Hashem has to Yidden. Amar Rav Yehuda Mashmuel, Hishkim Lishnais. A person wakes up in the morning to learn Achale Kara Kriya Shema. Before he read Kriya Shema, Tzarech Levarech. You have to make Birchas HaTorah. You have to say Birchas HaTorah in the morning. The rest of the Gemara here will basically be about Birchas HaTorah. Mishakara Kriya Shema, but once you've read Kriya Shema, Ein Tzarech Levarech, you don't have to make the bracha of Birchas HaTorah anymore. Shekvar Nifta B'Avarabba, because if you said Kriya Shema, you said the bracha before, which is the bracha of Avarabba, and that bracha patters you of saying Birchas HaTorah, as Rashi explains, because in the bracha of Avarabba we say V'sein b'libeinu bina lilmoid l'lamed, so that replaces the bracha of Birchas HaTorah. Omar Rav Huna says L'mikra tzarech levarech. If a person is learning Chumash, they have the obligation to say Birchas HaTorah. But a Medrash, if you're learning Medrash, ain't tzarech levarech. You don't have the obligation to make Birchas HaTorah. But Rabbi Lazar disagrees and says L'mikra or L'medrash tzarech levarech. Both, whether Chumash or whether Medrash, you have to make a bracha of Birchas HaTorah. L'mishna ain't tzarech levarech. If you're learning Torah Shabbal Peh, Mishnayis, you don't have to make the bracha. Medrash is still interpreting the psukim. But if you're learning Mishnayis, which the halachas of Torah Shabbal Peh, you don't have to make a bracha. Rabbi Yechanan Oma, Afla Mishnah Nami tzarech levarech. For Mishnayis, you also have to make a bracha. Aval Talmud ain't tzarech levarech. When you learn Gemara, which discusses the halachas of the Mishnayis, for that you don't have to make a bracha. Rava disagrees and says, Af letalmud tzarech levarech. Even when you learn Gemara, you also have to make a Birchas HaTorah, which means basically anything of Torah you learn, you have to make a bracha of Birchas HaTorah, and this is of course the way we paskin. The Amar of Chia Bar Ashi, Zimnin Sagi and Havakaimne Kamed Rav. Many times I'm standing before Rav, Lutnuye Pirkim Besifra de Beirav, and I'm learning the halachas of Sifra de Beirav. And Havamaktim v'kamashi yade, and he would first wash his hands ubarich, and then he would make the bracha of Birchas HaTorah umasni lom pirkin, and then he would teach us the halachas of Sifri de Beirav, which is not Mishnayis. So this shows that you have to make Birchas HaTorah any part of Torah that you learn. My mevarech, what is the bracha of Birchas HaTorah? Amar Rav Yehuda Mashmuel asher ketshana b'mitzvayse v'tzivanu lasek b'divrei Torah. The bracha is lasek b'divrei Torah. This is not our nusach. We don't say lasik with divrei Torah. We say al divrei Torah, which is the girsa of the Rif and many other mefarshim, many other Rishayim, that is. So that's our nusach. Al divrei Torah. Rabbi Yechanan Messiah Bahachi. Rabbi Yechanan continued and concluded the bracha. Harev na Hashem Elokeinu divrei serascha befinu. The words of Torah should be sweet in our mouth. Ubefias amcha beis Yisrael, and in the mouths of all of beis Yisrael. V'niya nachnu v'tzetzainu v'tzetzoi amcha beis Yisrael. Kolanu yoydish emecha v'oiskes serascha. Baruch atah Hashem. We add in our nusach l'shma. Baruch atah Hashem amalamet Torah lama Yisrael. So in the lashon of the Gemara here it says Messiah, which means that it's really one long bracha. There's a machlekes Rishayim about this. Some Rishayim say that it's two separate brachas. The Rambam says it's two separate brachas, which would mean that theoretically you could make a break, you could interrupt between the bracha of Al Divrei Torah and the bracha of Aharevna, two different brachas. But according to other Rishayim, I believe maybe Rabbeinu Yoina, I remember who it is now, he says it's one long bracha, and that's the way it sounds from the lashon of the Gemara. Or Messiahim ba. You conclude, it's one hemshech. V'Rav Amnuna, where am I? V'Rav Amnuna Omar, Rav Amnuna says that there's another bracha you say. Asher bacha bana mikol ha'amim, v'nasal lanu es Torah, say Baruch atah Hashem noisen ha'Torah. Hashem has chosen us and has given us His Torah. Omar Rav Amnuna, zu hi mu'ulish bebrachas. This bracha is the greatest of the three brachas mentioned there for Birchas HaTorah. This is the greatest bracha. Why is it the greatest bracha? So Rashi explains, because in this bracha you thank Hashem for choosing us as His nation. You thank Hashem for giving us the Torah. So you thank Hashem for more in this bracha. So we have three different brachas that were mentioned here. So what do? Hilkach lebrinu lekula. Let us say all three, which is what we do every morning. We say all three Birchas HaTorahs. So what's the pshat? This is the only mitzvah you find such a concept that you say 3 brachos on one mitzvah. What's the reason for this? Very nice, they're all beautiful brachos, but just because there are 3 options, we should fulfill all 3. So there are 2 pshatim. Rabbeinu Yaina says that we had before in the Gemara 3 different categories in Torah. There's Mikra, Medrash, and then there's Mishnah and Gemara, which is the interpretation of the Mishnah. So we say 3 different brachas corresponding to the 3 different areas of Torah. Other Rishayim that I mentioned before that say that it's really only 2 brachas, because Vaharavna is a continuation of the first bracha, say that the 2 brachas are Keneged Torah Shebiksav and Torah Shebal Peh. What this basically means is, just to mention one point bekitzer, Birchas HaTorah is different than a regular mitzvah. Birchas HaTorah is a bracha that you're obligated to say on the action of the mitzvah that you do, thanking Hashem for giving you the opportunity to do the action of the mitzvah. Birchas HaTorah, you're making a bracha on the very Torah itself, which means just like a person consumes food physically, there's a Birchas HaNanan that you have to make before you consume food. Birchas HaTorah, it's not just a bracha on the action or on the exercise of learning. Birchas HaTorah is you're consuming Hashem's Torah, you have to make a bracha on the very Torah itself. And therefore, you have to look at the very Torah itself, and there's different categories within Torah. There's Torah Shebiksav, Torah Shebal Peh, and so on. And therefore, there's more than one bracha, that just like by Birchas HaNanan, there's different brachas for different foods. In Torah as well, there's Torah Shebiksav, Torah Shebal Peh, it's a different consumption, it's a different experience. Right? When you learn Torah Shebiksav, you don't even have to understand what you're learning. You yaitze the mitzvah. Birchas Torah Shebal Peh, you have to understand what you're learning.
Is it
right?
if you don't learn that thing?
Huh?
If you don't end up learning...
So our minig is that right after Birchas HaTorah, we say words of Torah. We say Birchas Kaina, which are psukim from Torah, and we say Elu Dvarim. But it's actually a machlekes. It's actually a machlekes, which Taisus over here brings up, which is another distinction between regular Birchas HaMitzvahs and Birchas HaTorah, that by regular Birchas HaMitzvahs, you can't make a break between the bracha and the mitzvah. If you make a break, you have to make the bracha again. By Birchas HaTorah, you're not l'chuyev to learn Torah immediately after you say the Birchas HaTorah. We do because we're machmer based on a Yerushalmi. Even from the Yerushalmi, it's not clear. But based on the Yerushalmi, we're machmer to learn Torah right after we say the Birchas HaTorah. But you don't necessarily have to. What's the reason, Taka? Why not? So what's the chiluk between Birchas HaTorah and other mitzvahs? So Taisus says a beautiful, beautiful thing. Listen closely. This is very important. The Taisus asks another question. Why is it that by Birchas HaTorah we make one Birchas HaTorah in the morning, and that Birchas HaTorah is for the entire day? When it comes to another mitzvah, for example, sukkah, person enters into a sukkah, has a meal, makes a bracha leisha basukkah, then he leaves the sukkah, and he's masir das from the sukkah, and then he comes back for another meal, he has to make another bracha of leisha basukkah. Why don't you say the same thing regarding learning? You go out a whole day, you come back to learn a shir and Torah in the evening, you should have to make a new Birchas HaTorah. Elamai Taisus answers, the reason is because a person never removes himself from Torah. Shani Torah she'eina meyayish daitai. A person never fully removes his mind from learning. The cholsha adam mechuyev lilmaid. Really, a person is obligated to learn every hour, every moment. The chsiv agisa b'yayim v'layla. V'have k'mayeshiv kol hayom b'lo hafsik. Aval achila b'sukkah yashak fu. It comes to the mitzvah of eating in a sukkah, so there's a specific time where you're eating your meals. So there's a break, you have to make a new bracha. Limudat Torah is something that a person is obligated every moment of the day, and a Yid never disconnects from the Torah. He has an obligation to make parnasa, to do whatever he has to do. So temporarily, he's walking away from the Torah. But in essence, the Jew's mind is never fully removed from the Torah, so he doesn't make a new bracha during the day. Huh? About this?
About in the bathroom, how it's not a hefsek.
Oh, it's not a hefsek.
They're each giving me suggestions, but I think Rabbi said that because the very fact that he knows it can't.
That itself is a halacha of Torah. Yeah, remember that part. Yeah, yeah.
Why are the bracha to me that you make the bracha?
Yeah.
If it's a mitzvah to me, you have to make the bracha every day.
Yeah.
Different mitzvahs to middays, like the munah, things like that.
Right, munah, avos Hashem, but over there's no ma'aseh mitzvah, so we don't make a bracha on those things b'chlal, because there's no action of a mitzvah. Over here, there's an action.
There's a nusach that says lasting b'divrei Torah, but we don't say it because some people are not oisik in the oisik mashma that you go into the pilpul.
You're doing the actual mitzvah.
No, oisik is more to get into the pilpul of it.
Okay.
As opposed to.
Okay. There's a few pshatim with that. Let's go a little weiter. Tanan Hasam, we learned over there in a Mishnah This is talking about the Seder in the Beis HaMikdash. Amalem HaMemuna. The Memuna in the Beis HaMikdash and the Aveda, Rashi says it's the Zgan Kohen Gadol. So he says to the Kohenim in the morning, Baruch Hu bracha achas, make one bracha. The Gemara will soon say what bracha that is. Vein Baruch Hu, they make that bracha. And then he says to them, V'koru Aseres HaDibris, say the Aseres HaDibris, and then Shema, V'hayim Shemoya, and Vayayme, the 3 parshas of Shema, U'v'baruchu Esa'am, and bench the Yid and Gimel brachas, 3 brachas. There's various pshatim in which brachas these are. Emes v'yatziv, and then say the bracha of Emes v'yatziv, and then v'aveda, say the bracha of Aveda, which is basically the bracha of Ritzei that we say in Shemay Nesrei, u'birchas kayanim, and then birchas kayanim. So over here, this is the birchas kayanim. U'b'Shabbos meisifim bracha achas, and then on Shabbos they would add another bracha l'mishmar hayotze. The change of the guard in the Beis HaMikdash would happen once a week on Shabbos. They would say a bracha achas to the other group that's leaving. The Gemara will soon say what that bracha is. That's going to be on Daf Yud Beis. So now the Gemara goes back to the bracha achas that it says that they say in the morning, that the Memuna would tell them right away in the morning, say a bracha. Which bracha is this? My bracha achas. Which bracha would they say first thing in the morning? So the Gemara says, Ki had Rab Abba, Rab Yosef bar Abba, iklu lahu asre. So they came to a certain place and Bo Menayu, and they asked the question, my bracha achas. What is this one bracha? Well, they have a biyadayu. They didn't know how to teach this Mishnah, what that bracha is. Va'asu shailul Rav Masna. They asked the question to Rav Masna. They have a biyada. He also didn't have an answer. Asu shailul Rav Yehuda, and then finally they came to ask Rav Yehuda what this bracha achas is. Amalahu hachi ama Shmuel avarabba. Shmuel said that this bracha achas is avarabba. So the Gemara brings the whole story over here. They were asked him, and they asked him, why is the Gemara bringing this? The Gemara is showing you how determined you have to be when you want to know a pshat in the Indian and Torah. You ask one person, ask another person, you have to continue asking. He said in the name of Rab Shimon ben Lakish a different pshat, Yetzirai. That the one bracha that he told them to make in the morning is a different bracha. It's the bracha of Yetzirai. Okay, we'll stop over here. The Gemara will get now into a longer discussion and get to which bracha it is.
3 brachas.
What?
3 different types of brachas.
3?
3 brachas are very different types of brachas.
Which, what do you mean by which 3 brachas are you referring to? Oh, the 3 brachas of Birchas HaTorah?
Yes, the brachas of the Shabbat.
Bein Yain, I believe, I remember now the Pratim explains how each one corresponds to Mikra, Medrash, and Mishnah. He explains it, how they, I believe he explains how it fits in.
Why, if somebody's busy, then the sort of busy with their Pratim from Krishma,
Yes.
Krishma, even if you do it all with the bunny, it takes you maximum 5 minutes.